excuse me. Hey, excuse me. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but there's other people waiting to use the phone here.
There are?
Yeah.
Other people want to use the phone.
That's right, you selfish asshole.
Jeez, that's too bad, because you know what?
What?
I think it's out of order.
Hey, what's up? It's time to review Falling Down, starring Michael Douglas, Robert Duvall, and Barbara Hershey, and directed by Joel Schumacher. And it's a drama about this guy who basically has the worst day of his life. I mean, first he gets fired from his job, and then he wants to go home, so he runs into all this trouble on his way home, and he's already like pissed off at the world, like what's wrong with the world today or whatever. So he's a really stressed out guy on the edge, and he could snap at any moment, and he kind of does throughout this movie, and sort of goes on a violent rampage just at the world, lashing out at anyone who pisses him off. And yeah, so he gets fired from his job. He's on his way home. The freeway's gridlocked somewhere in LA, and it's really hot in the car. There's a fly buzzing around in his car. That's annoying him. All the noise from the other cars around, that's annoying him. So it's like the way they edited that scene, that opening scene, just conveyed so well. Just one of those days where just like everything's bugging the fuck out of you. Like, you just had to get out of that car. So he gets out of the car, leaves the gridlock road, and you know, even somebody else in the car's like, "Hey, where are you going? You can't just leave your car like that." He's like, "I'm going home. Can't take this anymore." And so he walks off. The guy's out, you know, the guy in the car is all pissed off because, you know, there's a car blocking him in front of him, and it's already gridlocked. So further back in the traffic, we're introduced to Robert Duvall, who's like this cop who's about to retire. It's his last day. So he gets out of the car, goes up to where Michael Douglas left his car, and there's a cop up there talking to the guy who saw him leave, and he helps them get the car off the road, out of the way. So next scene, it's like he's trying to call his ex-wife at her house, but I guess he doesn't say anything the first time, or doesn't know what to say, and then she hangs up on him before he can say anything. So he needs more change for the payphone that he was at. And there's this convenience store nearby. He goes in there to get some change. With $1, he wants to make change, you know, like give him $1 and then give him 50 cents back. So he goes in there, asks for change, and then the clerk's like, "No change, you have to buy something." So that pisses him off, and then he gets a soda, and the soda's 85 cents, which is like a higher price than he think it should be. So that pisses him off too, and then it's like, you know, he's arguing with the clerk, and the clerk's Korean, and he's got a really thick accent, so he's kind of like, you know, making fun of his accent and saying like, you know, making these comments about like, you know how much money my country gave to your country, blah blah blah. So he's like, he's just going on, he's a really angry guy. He's just like, whatever, you get the idea. But the clerk's getting scared because, you know, the guy's getting crazy. So he grabs the bat, a baseball bat, underneath the counter, and he's gonna swing at him with it if he tries to attack him. But, you know, he gets it out. Michael Douglas sees it, and then he's like, "Whoa, wait, what are you doing?" And he grabs it, and then they start fighting over it. And then eventually Michael Douglas, you know, he gets it out of his hand, and then, you know, the clerk's like, you know, he's all on the ground, all scared, cowering, and he's just like, Michael Douglas really pissed off. He's just like, you know, ranting and raving, and, you know, he's pissed off about the overpriced merchandise in his store. So he's like asking him what the prices are, and then he tells him the prices, and he's like, "Oh, too high." Bam! And he starts just like busting up all the merchandise, knocking all over the floor, just totally demolishes the place. And then he gets to where, like, how much is this soda? He asks him again. He's like, 50 cents. And he's like, sold. And then he leaves, takes his baseball bat with him. And then that's it. Like, he walks out, and then he, like, stops to take a breather on some rock out in some open field, I guess, on some hill, which is supposedly gang territory. So he's sitting out there chilling, just having a moment to himself. And then these two guys walk up to him, start harassing him about him being on their territory. And he tries to reason with them, but they're not having it. So they want him to pay a toll, or, you know, give him something. Like, you know, you got to pay a toll to get out of here, or we'll fuck you up. So he's like, you know, give us the briefcase. Like, I'm not giving you my goddamn briefcase. I mean, and then they, like, pull out a knife, and he's like, all right, I tried to reason with you guys. I tried to, talk like adults, but you just wouldn't leave it alone. So you want the briefcase? All right, I'll give you the briefcase. And he takes out the bat. Bam! Knocks the guy upside the head, one of the guy, and then beats the other guy, in the back with it. And then he starts running off, and he's like, wait! And the other guy runs off. He's like, wait, you forgot your briefcase! You forgot your briefcase! And then the other guy's kind of running off. He's like, clear a fucking path! Throws the bat at him. Like, I'm going home! Clear a fucking path! I'm going home! He's just really going off. So they eventually, like, those two guys run off, and then they get their boys, try to retaliate and do a drive-by, find him somewhere, find him in the city and do a drive-by on him and kill him, shoot him, but they end up missing and shooting a whole bunch of other people on the street. And then as they're, driving away, they crash around the corner and then kill themselves. Like, one of them's still, alive. But, they're such dumbasses. It's like, yeah, anyway. Yeah, they kill themselves trying to kill him, and then he sees all the carnage, finds the car, the wreckage, and sees the one guy still alive, bleeding to death, and he's like, you missed. And he takes the gun, shoots, like, and then he misses, like, oh, I missed too, and then he, like, shoots him again in the leg, and he's like, take some shooting lessons, asshole. So he leaves that whole scene, and then goes off somewhere, and then I think he ends up in this restaurant, this fast food restaurant, where he wants some breakfast from the breakfast menu, but they stop serving breakfast at 11, and it's like 11:02 or 11:03 or some shit like that, and they're just like so by the book that they don't want to give him his breakfast. So he tries to talk to the manager, but like, nope, you have to get something from the lunch menu. And then he goes off on them, takes out the gun, starts, ranting and raving about that. And then, people trying to get out. He's like, no, stay safe, finish your food. Like, don't go anywhere. Like, it's really funny. I don't know. I know you can't call this a comedy because it's a drama, but it's got a lot of funny scenes in it, and it's all in the acting. It's all in Michael Douglas's performance, and the acting really sells this movie. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, he changes his mind. He's like, okay, yeah, I want some lunch, and then they give him the lunch. They give him a burger, some kind of like Wally burger or something like that, and he takes it out, looks at it, and it's all smashed up and nasty looking. Nothing like the picture. It always looks better in the picture than it does in real life, so he's pissed about that. And he starts like asking them questions about why that is, and what's wrong with this picture, basically. And then out of all the people in the restaurant, this little kid raises his hand with the answer, but then they cut to the next scene. They don't say what the kid, reveal what the kid said.